that you could, is it more Mobile has a chance than Duke, or are you not ruling either one of them out, or is there a chance?
Both of them will be available this weekend. How long they'll go, how healthy they'll be, that'll be determined as we go throughout the week.
Does that also probably move Patrick Carr up another level as far as
Yes.
just in
Yes.
the hierarchy?
Yep. In terms of healthy back, 100% healthy backs, Davian and Patrick are the healthiest. Duke and Mobile have the most experience, most carries, but we'll have to see how they do today, tomorrow, and Wednesday.
In terms of after you guys were able to get back and look at some film and all that, what were a few of the things that you felt kind of put you guys behind the eight ball, so to speak, in that game? Looking back, what are some things you wish maybe had played out a little bit differently for you guys?
Well, the two things that, what happened, from a defensive standpoint, third downs. They extended, they had the ball around 36 and a half minutes and 20 points. So usually you're going to have more points with that kind of possession. So there was times where we stopped them for a field goal, but at the same time they were able to take up a lot of the clock because on third down Banks was making plays. And that's the one thing from the defensive standpoint is on third down we didn't get him off the field, and we didn't contain the quarterback, and we didn't tackle him when we had him in the pocket, and that's very difficult. We've seen that around here with Greg, but we've got to do a better job in those situations when we're playing that kind of quarterback. Offensively, it's all about the red zone. Each time you go down the red zone, you have an opportunity for 7 points. There were 28 potential points, and we walked away with 10. And all we needed was four other points. And you have a penalty that makes you go back first and goal from the 22. You end up kicking a field goal. Another time you run a sweep from, I believe, the 14 or 16. You score a touchdown, and then you have a turnover on downs, and then you have an actual turnover. And you can't win games. I bet you there hadn't been one in our conference this year, one with 17 points. You just can't win games like that. And, the ball has to be at a premium. We've got to put them in the right plays in the red zone, and we've got to execute.
We don't get to ask you very much about special teams. There's not, it's kind of the forgotten unit, but they mean a lot in terms of what you do. But specifically at kicker, Caden Novikov, I think he's made his last 7 or 8. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. Has there been something from beginning of the year to now? I know the kickoffs were maybe an issue early on, but it seems like he's really put everything together the last month or so.
Yeah, I think that's it's experience. I don't know how to say it any other way. If you'd watched him kick in the spring, you wouldn't think it was the same person. But I saw a marked difference in fall camp than I did in the spring. So that's credit to him for going out and working and getting better. And then as the season's gone on, he's had some opportunities for some kicks to develop confidence, and he's made them. And it's just like a shooter in basketball. The more you make them, the more confidence you have in pulling the trigger. And we were down there early in the game, had a 40-yarder, and there was no second thought. Go get us 3.
As far as schedule this week, I know it's a little bit different with the short weekend with a holiday in there. What's the schedule play out for as far as the team, or when are they practicing? And
everything's just moved up a day. So Tuesdays on a Monday, Wednesdays on a Tuesday, Thursdays on a Wednesday, off on Thanksgiving, meetings, hotel, play Friday morning at 11 a.m. So just everything moves up a day. But you have a little bit of extra time on Wednesday because classes are out, and Thursday in terms of preparation for the players.
But you've been with this senior class now 3 years. It's the last home game. I know you have a bowl game, but any thoughts just on some of the things they've accomplished just as a team they were part of the Peach Bowl win and a lot of big wins in this program?
Yeah, that's what we spoke about yesterday in the team meeting. Other than addressing the Tulane game, was this one is for the seniors. Us as a staff, support staff. The seniors sit on the first row up front, and so everybody on the following rows, you're playing for this group. At some point, you're going to get down to that row, and you're going to want the people behind you to play for you. And everybody owes it to those guys. They've done a lot for this program, and there's no telling how many balls Steve Dunbar and Linnell Bonner have caught out in that stadium, how many tackles Matt Adams had. Just thinking of all of them. Marcus Oliver, I was talking to him last night. He's played every position on the O-line except for center. They've done a lot of great things for this university, and they've been through 3 different head coaches, 3 or 4 position coaches at times, and they've done nothing but work hard and be good citizens off the field and represent the university the right way.
You said something last week, and this isn't necessarily about seniors, but a lot of them factor in as far as how you're going to handle in the future team captains. I think you're instead of doing it at the beginning, you're going to do it at the end. Can you kind of give us a little bit about what's behind that and how that'll work?
Yeah, there's all kind of philosophies, in terms of captains, but I've grown up and accustomed to, the captains of the week or the guys who put in the effort that week, who are really preparing, practicing hard. They get the honor of going out and representing their team on game day. And then you look at the body of work throughout the course of a season, and you allow the players, after you've been through the battles of the season, who really represented us, who really embodied what we worked and how we train.
The Navy looking ahead, you kind of hit it on last week about their options, but they're very different in how they do things.
Right.
You've seen them twice now. What can you tell us in terms of what they do
Well,
right there?
you play Navy. It's very similar to last week. That's what I told the team. It's the same exact, type of game. You're going to have limited possessions. Don't be surprised offense if you go on the halftime again and you had 4 possessions. I just got through watching, Notre Dame snap the ball for the 38th time on the first snap of the fourth quarter. So don't be surprised if you're going to have fewer possessions. So number one, prepare yourself for what type of game it's going to be. And then you've got to find out what you need to do offensively and defensively to win the game. And, with triple option, number one, you got to tackle. You've got to tackle. You're going to have people assigned to dive. You're going to have people assigned to quarterback. You're going to have people assigned to pitch. You have to tackle those people when you're assigned to them. You have to have great recognition, in the formations and what you're getting. And then you have to be ready for the things off of the triple. Sometimes it's not the triple itself that hurts you. It's the play action passes. It's the tosses off of it. When you've seen a steady dose of it and they throw one of their 8, 12, however many passes they're averaging a game, it's usually you have your head buried in the box and now all of a sudden, the ball's over your head. So tackling well, recognizing formations, communicating those things, and then, making sure your eyes are in the right place for play action.
Does the fact that they do what they do grind it, does that put a premium on if you only get 4 possessions, a half,
Yeah.
you can't get on the doorstep and
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And that's the way they want to play the game. That's the way they want to play it.
have you I don't know if it's execution or have you put your finger this year on just some of the red zone? So you guys get in there quite a bit, and there's been some times, majority of the time you score, but a lot of the times it's either a penalty and you settle for a field goal, or you don't get in, or it's a turnover. Just maybe what's been the Achilles.
It hadn't been the last 3 games. We were 100% in the red zone against East Carolina. The same thing against South Florida. It hasn't been an issue the last few games. Memphis, it wasn't an issue either. Early in the season we had turnover in the red zone against Texas Tech. But that's the main thing is as you're learning, as you're getting back in, whether it's Kyle, whether it's De'Eric coming in at quarterback. I remember my coach telling me in college, we used to, every time we did red zone drill, we had to run down there and sing a song, reserve the right to kick, reserve the right to kick, reserve the right. You have to have points. You have to have points. And the only way you can put pressure on people in this game is to put points on the board. And whether it's 3 or 7, it's points. And so those are the things that are very disheartening to a team. That's almost like a block punt. When you go down there and you don't even come away with 3, you turn the ball over.
You might know where I'm going with this, Major, but I'm not going to ask
Got a
you.
smirk on your face.
Not specifically asking you to address this particular person, but as a former quarterback, what was the wildest thing you ever did in terms of the celebration on the field? I had to finish it there. Celebration on the field in terms of other opponent, that kind of stuff. I mean, is
there Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, is there a composure issue in terms of being a quarterback and what you kind of let happen and don't do, or?
There were all, it's a game. It's intense. There's always things said. There's always things said. You can't, thank goodness you can't read lips through a face mask most of the time, but there's always things said in the game. I mean, after every play. So that's just part of it. Some of the other stuff I don't, really pay attention to. That's just kind of extracurricular. But, jawing back and forth and, nodding your head at somebody if you got the best of them, that's just normal. It's part of the deal.
Do you remember which game it was that you ran? There's field. I don't know if you did that when you were doing the horn side. I don't know if that was for a particular game or a team, or if you did that a lot. But there's one out there that have a little bit more celebration than will change your game. Or
There were several games like that, you know, usually out of frustration, you weren't playing well, and then all of a sudden you make a play, and now you're back in the game, and, you know, you're talking a little trash, and that's just part of the deal. I mean, it's part of being a competitor.